Venus, the brightest planet in our night sky. Named for the goddess of love and beauty, it glows like a jewel just before sunrise and after sunset. But behind that brilliance lies a world of horror. A planet wrapped in clouds of sulfuric acid, where temperatures soar above 460 degrees Celsius and pressures crush like the depths of Earth's oceans. It is a world so hostile that even our toughest spacecraft survive only hours on its surface. And yet, something about Venus refuses to be dismissed. Beneath its hellish disguise, scientists are finding whispers, strange signals in its atmosphere that hint at something extraordinary. Could Venus, our twin in size and structure, hide clues to life within its toxic skies? Could its clouds, once thought utterly deadly, actually hold the chemistry of habitability? This is the story of a planet reborn in mystery, and of humanity's search for life in the most unlikely of places. For centuries, Venus was Earth's sister, nearly the same size, mass, and composition. Early astronomers imagined it as a tropical paradise beneath its thick veil of clouds, a world of oceans, forests, and endless rain. But when spacecraft finally arrived in the 1960s and 70s, that dream shattered. Probes like Venera 7 and Pioneer Venus revealed a nightmare world. Temperatures hot enough to melt lead, a surface smothered in carbon dioxide and nitrogen, and clouds made of sulfuric acid, dense enough to reflect almost all sunlight back into space. Venus wasn't a paradise. It was a runaway greenhouse, a vision of what happens when climate runs out of control. Yet, while its surface is deadly, its upper atmosphere, about 50 to 60 kilometers above the ground, tells a different story. There, temperatures and pressures resemble those on Earth. The air is still acidic, but it's mild enough that, in theory, life could survive. And that's where the mystery begins. In September 2020, astronomers announced something shocking. Using the James Clerk Maxwell Telescope and the ALMA array, they had detected traces of a rare molecule in Venus's clouds, phosphine. On Earth, phosphine is almost exclusively produced by living organisms, microbes that thrive in oxygen-poor environments. It's a chemical signature that, in the right context, could mean biology. The discovery ignited a firestorm. Could there really be microbes floating in Venus's acidic skies? Could this hellish world harbor life, not on its surface, but in its clouds? If true, it would change everything. It would mean that life can adapt not just to extremes, but to worlds we once thought impossible. But extraordinary claims demand extraordinary proof, and soon, the debate began. After the phosphine announcement, telescopes around the world turned toward Venus. Some confirmed the signal. Others couldn't find it at all. Was it a detection error, a trick of data processing, or a real chemical signature buried in noise? New studies suggested that the signal might have come from sulfur dioxide, not phosphine, a far more common molecule in Venus's atmosphere. The controversy divided scientists, but it also rekindled interest in a planet that had been largely ignored for decades. Venus, once written off as uninhabitable, was suddenly back in the spotlight. Because even if the phosphine signal was a false alarm, it reminded us of something crucial. We know shockingly little about our nearest planetary neighbor, and what we do know raises more questions than answers. Venus's atmosphere is a complex and violent chemistry lab. It's made of carbon dioxide, nitrogen, and clouds of sulfuric acid droplets, constantly stirred by hurricane-force winds that circle the planet every 4 Earth days. But in that chaos, there are curious anomalies. Certain layers of the clouds absorb ultraviolet light more strongly than they should, as if something or some process is consuming it. Could these mysterious UV-absorbing patches be the signature of unknown chemistry, or even microbial pigments adapted to an alien sky? Some researchers think it's possible. If microbes existed there, they'd need to be acid-resistant, perhaps using sulfur compounds or even forming protective coatings around their cells. They wouldn't look like anything on Earth, but they might follow the same universal chemistry of life: carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen. To test this, scientists need to go back, not just to orbit, but into the clouds themselves. After decades of neglect, a new wave of missions is preparing to return to Venus. NASA's Da Vinci mission will plunge through the atmosphere, sampling gases and particles on its way to the surface. The Veritas orbiter will map the planet in stunning detail, searching for signs of volcanic activity, one possible source of phosphine, and other unusual gases. Meanwhile, private companies and international partners, from Rocket Lab to India's ISRO, are planning their own missions, equipped with instruments to analyze the chemistry of the clouds. For the first time in generations, Venus is once again a frontier, a living laboratory for understanding how planets evolve and whether life can exist beyond Earth's fragile biosphere. Because if there's even a hint of biology in those clouds, it would mean something profound. Life can survive in acid. Life can adapt to heat, pressure, and poison. Life, in some form, is everywhere it can possibly be. Studying Venus doesn't just tell us about another planet, it tells us about our own. Billions of years ago, Venus may have been temperate, with oceans and a mild atmosphere. But a runaway greenhouse effect, fueled by carbon dioxide and solar heat, turned it into a furnace. Its oceans boiled away, its skies thickened, and its surface became a wasteland. It's a stark warning of how fragile planetary balance can be. Venus is what happens when a world loses control of its climate. But it's also a reminder that habitability is a spectrum, that even in places that seem hopeless, there may still be niches of survival. In its poisonous clouds, we might glimpse not just alien chemistry, but the resilience of life itself. If life does exist in Venus's clouds, it would redefine our understanding of biology. Such organisms would need to survive in droplets of acid, feed on trace gases, and endure ultraviolet radiation from the sun. But Earth offers surprising analogs. In volcanic craters, acid lakes, and sulfuric caves, extremophiles thrive, bacteria and archaea that feast on sulfur, iron, and acid. They show us that life's limits are far wider than we once believed. Could Venus's clouds be filled with microscopic floaters, tiny acid-resistant life forms drifting on thermals, reproducing in the thin layers of stability high above the inferno? We don't know. But the more we learn about extremophiles here on Earth, the harder it is to say no. Over the next decade, a new generation of instruments will study Venus in unprecedented detail. Spectrometers capable of detecting minute traces of organic molecules. Balloon probes that could drift through the clouds for months. And perhaps one day, a sample return mission, bringing back a piece of Venus's atmosphere for direct study on Earth. Every discovery, every molecule measured, brings us closer to answering a question that transcends science. Is life common in the universe? Or is it rare, fragile, and fleeting? Venus might hold the first real clue. For now, Venus remains a paradox, both beautiful and brutal, a world that burns with heat, yet teases us with the chemistry of life. Its clouds shimmer with acid and mystery, hiding secrets older than Earth's first breath. Whether the signals we've seen are traces of biology or chemistry, one truth remains. Venus is alive with questions, and we've only begun to ask them. One day, our probes will descend again through its golden skies. They'll taste the acid, measure the gases, and maybe, just maybe, find something moving in the mist. If that happens, it won't just change how we see Venus. It will change how we see ourselves. Because if life can exist there, in the clouds of a dying world, then life is not fragile. Life is inevitable.